lot of questions that make me legitimately uncomfortable. I do get one, and it comes from a lot of people. I don't usually take it. Take it today. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins that I hope you'll also check out. What about Travis Williams? That's the question. It comes in a lot of different varieties, but that's it. Williams is the second most powerful individual in the Pirates structure, below only Bob Nutting, and yes, above Ben Cherington. Even though they carry similar titles, it's Williams who has authority over Cherington. Now, I will mention Williams whenever I'm pointing toward people who can and should do something about a management team that on and off the field has utterly failed for 5 years. I'll say his name, but I usually don't take it a whole lot further than that. And I'm going to tell you today why that is. Number one, I'm human. I like the guy. I've known him for a long time. I respect what he's achieved as an individual. I respect the role he played with the Penguins in their championship run. I respect the Herculean task that he had in attempting to develop the land abandoned by the demolition of the Civic Arena. I'm not going to get into that. It would take forever, but it was a tough, tough job. I respect that anybody who comes in contact with him will talk glowingly about him. That always says a lot about an individual. And, I mean, he was a winner across the river. He was a winner who was hired by the NHL's Islanders to help them do similar things in their new home in Elmont, New York. And he came back here at Nutting's behest because he and Nutting had formed a cordial relationship during Williams' time with the Penguins, and a trusting relationship at that. And I felt at the time this was just the perfect replacement for Frank Coonley. This was the perfect replacement for someone who was just full of bombast, thought he was a baseball guy when he had absolutely no cause to believe that, who'd put his foot in his mouth every other week, it seemed, and who ultimately made the dumbest mistake of all in tethering himself to Neil Huntington and forcing Nutting to fire not just both of them, but all of them. And in fact, Williams has been that person. He really has, since he's been running the Pirates. He's been all of those things. What he hasn't been is assertive, is visibly, vocally assertive. I have seen Travis behind the scenes. I know the extent to which he lives and dies with these games. I saw him just recently on one of the final road trips up in Cleveland. He accompanied the team up there. Didn't have, cameras on him or have the social media people putting stuff up about him the way Coonley used to do. He was just there in the background, like Joe Fan, just cringing before each pitch or swing. That's the Williams I've come to know. That guy. What I don't understand, and what I, can't understand because I'm not inside his head, is what's happened to create such complacency. And this is the part that none of us has to guess at, because nothing's been done. Nothing's been done by way upper management. And that means Nutting and Williams. They are way upper management. Nothing's been done. And that, in this industry, is literally all that matters. So what I have to share with you on the Williams subject, and the reason that the question, kind of makes me want to go, is that I don't have an answer. I can't bridge the two things that spread over this chasm any better than anybody else can. I wish I could. I wish I had that information for you. I'm not holding it back, believe me. I don't understand how someone can appear to be and to have lived his life a certain way for so long and then to just say, you know what, failure's okay. Let's reward failure. Let's give them another year. And then on top of that, let's not be, here are those terms again, visible or vocal in that. One thing I want to remind everyone of here is that to date, no one in way upper, higher, or whatever that term was that I made up, management, has said a blessed thing. No one has said Ben Cherington's coming back. No one has said Derek Shelton's coming back. No one has said, hey, what we just went through in 2024 was wholly unacceptable. We don't accept it as we, us, way higher upper management types. We don't accept that. No one has done this. That's not okay. I don't mean to make it sound okay by not talking about Williams very often. I just wish that I knew more. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Rob, who says, DK, I had to go back and read through some of the Neil Huntington era to come up with this question, but, you know, it's the playoffs, and Pirates fans tend to have some spare time on their hands. I had forgotten that Huntington was the one to fire John Russell. It seems as though Ben Cherington has attached himself to Derek Shelton, much like Frank Coonley did with Huntington. We all know how that worked out. We are now approaching the October 28 date on which Nutting fired Coonley and Huntington. You've said before that there were rumblings in 2019 that something was afoot before that happened. Is that the case now, or is it radio silence? The latter will only embolden my already firm stance that it's time for a change all the way to ownership. Rob, this will be the shortest answer I ever give since I've started this show. There's nothing. I could elaborate on that for you, but there's nothing. Nothing coming out of there from anyone. Now, your guess is legitimately as good as mine on this front. Going off precedent, as you seem to be trying to do, there have been times when radio silence has meant that Nutting is doing his due diligence, he's investigating. That was the term that came up, by the way, you might recall in 2019, investigating. That's a heck of a thing, huh? If your boss tells you that he's investigating your work, better start updating that resume. Nothing of the kind this time. My belief, if you want to take that at face value, is that it's just business as usual. They're just doing their thing. And I could picture that. The walls at 115 Federal are very, very thick. They block out everything from the outside. That's been true of both of these administrations, by the way. And they collectively have a very easy time, a casual time, convincing themselves that they're all smart and we're all stupid. And this isn't to excuse either Nutting or Travis Williams, but they're also pretty good at convincing people around them of that. They're big believers, Cherington in particular, of showing forecasts of the future, illustrating why these things are X% likely to happen. And that's, did you ever watch a documentary on Nostradamus? You get mesmerized by this, right? You can't believe that there was this dude in France like hundreds of years ago who was writing these things called quatrains and predicting the existence of, like, I don't know, Hitler and Elvis and Marilyn Monroe and whatever. And he could see everything, and you just go, wow, this is the most amazing thing. And you can almost imagine everybody listening to this stuff and going, wow, look at us. In 2025, we're going to be just awesome. Never mind that just, a handful of months earlier, they were told that Brian Dela Cruz was going to be the guy to get them into the playoffs. This show. Why? Why would anybody listen to this? Stop listening to it. Please, please, put me out of my misery. I appreciate anybody who does, seriously, and we'll be back with another one tomorrow.